Hello, it's a brand new week, which means it's time for another week in the life of a part-time eBay reseller. My name is Tom, this channel is Tom's Toys 95, and if you are new here, I'm a part-time eBay reseller as well as a video game collector. These videos document my journey as a part-time eBay reseller, so I will go over all of the pickups, all of the sales, and I'll tell you how much I sold the items for and how much profit I made. At the end of the video, we'll wrap up by going over all of the results, and I'll tell you how many items I sold and what they sold for, and all of the deductions and the overall profits at the end. So let's get into the video for this week. So the first item that I sold is the best item of the year so far in terms of sales. Now, I sold one item outside of eBay for over £1,100, so go check that video out if you want to. That was a really rare football shirt that I found at the car boot, but as that was outside of eBay, then this doesn't really count, as most of these sales in these weekly videos are for eBay sales. So in terms of eBay sales, this is probably the most expensive item that I've sold so far this year, and that is the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Collector's Edition on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this doesn't include the game, I took that out, so when this came out originally I bought two copies. One was to open and use because I wanted to display the figure that's inside, and the other one was to keep sealed for my collection. So the sealed one is in my collection at the moment, and this one I have played the game, enjoyed it, and I had the figure on display, but where I'm living at the moment I've moved house and I don't really have that much room to display stuff. So I think I'm going to pass this one on, which is what I did, and I sold this for £165. So originally this cost me $89.99 on a pre-order from the Nintendo store, and the game's worth about £30 to £40. So there's about £50 worth of value in here as I've taken the game out. So £50 into 165, I'm really pleased with that profit. So that's over £100 profit. And it's in really good condition, so I hope whoever gets this enjoys it. I'll pop some footage on screen of the item because it's an absolute beauty. So there are a few more sales to go over, however they are at home. Now, one of the realities of being a part-time eBay reseller is that you just don't have as much time to do things as quickly as you would like to, and that is the reality of it. We all have full-time jobs, at least I do. I work 9 to 5, so our times vary, our patterns vary. Some people might do shift work and just resell part-time, in which case you might have the day to go to the post office or the morning to wrap things if you say are on a late shift. But for me, I work 9 to 5, which is pretty much what the postage hours are, so it's very difficult for me to be able to wrap and post in according time. I am quite lucky though that I have a post office just around the corner from where I work, so on my lunch break I can pop in, which is where I'll be going in a minute. So I'm going to wrap this up well. I'll get some footage of it before I post it. I'll get it wrapped, get it boxed, and then I'm going to take it to the post office. When I get home tonight, I'm going to pick the rest of my orders and I will check in and show you what they are and how much I paid for it and how much I sold them for once I've done it. Parcels wrapped and ready to go to the post office. So just another quick tip, as I've just posted that parcel, if you buy your labels on the eBay app directly, you can buy a QR code which you scan at the till, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper for you than paying at the counter. Right then, it is Tuesday evening. England have just played Slovenia and it was a boring 0-0 draw. Just got back from the pub and I'm going to pick my orders now. It's a little late, and I would normally pick my orders in the morning. However, I'm at a networking event in the morning for my job, and for some reason it starts at 6:30 and it's a 30-minute drive away, so I've got to get up at 5:30 tomorrow morning, so I ain't gonna have time to pick my orders and get them ready. Some of them need posting tomorrow, some of them need posting the day after, but I want to grab them all now and then post them tomorrow morning, or tomorrow lunchtime, sorry, on my lunch break. So I'm gonna grab them now, and then I will show you what I got and how much I paid and how much they sold for afterwards. So then, what did I sell? So I've got 4 bread and butter items. Now they're only cheap items, so in terms of revenue it's not really brought in that much. However, on the flip side, they didn't cost me very much to buy at all. Some of them I've had quite a while, so I'm glad to see them go. 3 of the items I've had for between 6 months and a year, and one of them has been lingering for like 4 or 5 years. So the one that's been lingering the longest is this 3D Magic Forest Blu-ray. It's basically a 3D tech demo for anyone that adopted the 3D Blu-ray before it died out, and it's basically just a magic forest, and you walk through and there's like pixies flying out at your screen and stuff. Seems quite a tranquil movie, but this was 50p in the Poundland clearance. I bought 5 of these, and this is the last one to sell. I sold this Kaibo yellow watch strap. Now these are rubber replacement straps for specifically Kaibo watches, and this sold for £9.99. I picked up a big watch bundle in the summer last year, and this owes me about £1, so £1 into £9.99, very happy with that. Now the next item is this, I think it's Sinister Green Goblin from the Marvel franchise, and this sold for £3.49. I picked this up in a bundle of figures for £10, and there was probably about 40 to 50 figures in there, and I split them up into different sets and sold them individually, and this is one of them. So although it's only a cheap sale, it cost me very little. I believe each figure cost me like 15 or 20 pence, so not a bad markup in the grand scheme of things. And then speaking of cheap items as well, this was technically free. So off a family friend last year, I picked up a big bundle of clothing items, and this is one of them. And this is C&A or Kanda, and it's basically a ugly woolen overcoat jacket type thing, and it only sold for £5.50. It's been listed for over a year, but it's definitely like 70s or 80s. It looks like your granddad or grandma would wear it, and it's not very nice at all. But for free into £5.50, can't really complain too much. But what I'm most excited about is how big this item is. It takes up quite a lot of room in my clothing box, so I've now got some free space to add more clothes to it. Right, I'm absolutely sweating, it's so hot in here, and I've got to get up at 5:30 tomorrow morning, so I've probably got about 7 hours sleep. That's if I do get to sleep right now. So yeah, I've got to be up in 7 hours and get to a networking meeting. So I'm going to take all these in the car with me tomorrow morning, and then on my lunch break I'll get them wrapped and head to the post office. I've made a sale of some England glasses overnight, so I am going to pick those before I go to my networking event. Come on, England. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's now Thursday night, and I'm going to grab my only sale, which is a Wimbledon hat. So let's find it. It should be in this box here with all the hats. Ta-da! So this Wimbledon hat was £3 from the car boot probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it sold for full asking price of £12.99 plus postage. Now I believe it's a kid's size. It says one size in it, but it's not very big at all. I actually forgot one more thing is just sold, and it's up here. So it's a disc only game, and it's on the PlayStation 4, and that is Injustice 2. So this game has sold for £4.95. I believe this was £6 or £8 from CEX, but it came with a steelbook. I kept the steelbook for the collection, and I've sold the disc only. So whilst I've technically lost money, I've gained a steelbook in my collection. Right, so I've got a bit of a confession. Usually I try and record the snippets throughout the week as I go, so you'll see raw footage of my actual journey throughout the week. Now, I've had a really busy weekend. I saw some family. My sister had a baby, and she usually lives in America, so she's came over with her husband, and I've seen the baby, which is great, but I just haven't had time to do any recording or film any footage. So I went to see her this weekend. So I had a great weekend, but as a result, I haven't put any time into eBay or Car Boots or YouTube. So I've got a bunch of stuff throughout the week that I have purchased. I haven't necessarily got loads of footage. I've got a little bit that I can put over the top just to prove that I was there or I got them. But there's some things now to go over that I've actually bought to resell. So I'll tell you roughly how much I could sell it for and how much I paid for the items and where I got them from. There's also a few sales that I need to update, which I'll add some footage over the top because I don't have them on me, they're at home. It's actually Monday morning, which is usually the time that I would be recording my next weekly video. So this week should have been wrapped up by now, but as I said, I was busy on the weekend. So we sold an Assassin's Creed figure on Friday, and it was my error, but the sword had broken off, so I put that in the description. But one thing that I was pretty mortified to find actually, and really peed me off, was that the figure has like a robe on, and the robe is just like bendy rubber, and the plastic has snapped. So I've messaged the buyer, I apologised and said if you want to refund the sale, I will. And he still wanted the item and said he's happy to glue it. So when he receives the item, I will offer him a partial discount because I think it's a bit unfair to pay for an item and it's damaged. So that's my fault. I don't know how that's happened, but it has happened. So you have to deal with it as it comes. So that has been wrapped and posted today. Now that was really good. That sold for £42.50 plus postage. I bought 3 figures and some books in January, I believe, for £100. Now I've marked on my spreadsheet that figure cost me £20. There was a more expensive figure in there which I sold for £106 I believe at the start of the year, so that basically paid for the bundle itself. There was another figure which went for £42.50 for this one, and then there was some books and posters and lithograph prints. So those have been selling for around 10 to 15 each, so we're well into profit on this bundle. So the £42.50, whilst I may have to give a partial refund, that's still a decent markup on that figure. So that has been wrapped and is ready to go, and that will be posted this lunchtime. So everything else I'm about to show you now is what I have purchased throughout last week, or this week as you're watching the video. So I'll tell you what I paid and where I got it from. So in no particular order, I went to TK Maxx, I believe it was Friday, and we actually had a team bonding day on Friday, so that's why there was no at work, so that's why there's no footage recorded then. And obviously this weekend was busy, so we're just playing catch up really from Thursday. So I bought 2 of these shirts. Now one I may keep and one I may sell, or I may just sell both. But this is an Adidas Manchester United shirt, so it's just a casual t-shirt. On the back it says Man United, it's got the Adidas retro football there with Fred the Red. And then as you can see, it's got the Man United and Adidas logo. So this is a retro style inspired range, I believe, from Adidas, as they are sponsoring Man United. So this originally should have been $29.99, and TK Maxx price was $12.99. Now this is a nice size medium. There was no large or extra large, so I'm a large in t-shirts, so this might be too tight for me, in which case I'll have to sell it anyway. But I'll try it on and see if it fits. But there's at least one to sell. Now I would be aiming for full price on this. I'd be aiming for around £25 to £30, which is what its retail price was, and I only paid $12.99. So I've got 2 of those, so if I do sell both, I could get potentially £50 for the 2 t-shirts. Also from TK Maxx, I picked up this Germany home shirt. Now I believe this is the 21-22 season, so this would have been the World Cup, I believe. Now this is nice. This is the black stripe down the middle with the crest in the middle with the Adidas logo. Now this is a 3XL, so it's a big shirt, it's a big size. However, in a good way, a lot of these sizes sell out really quickly. Now I have noticed there's a little bit of a mark on the t-shirt which will devalue the item. I think it's just dust actually, so that should wipe off, so that shouldn't be a problem. But that was £19 in the clearance. So TK Maxx's price would have been about £30 or £40. So let me just try and find the label. So I don't know what their price was underneath because these stickers on it. So it was £34.99. So as you can see, RRP £70, and I got this for £19. I believe I could sell that for around about £35, £40. I think because it's a large size, it might take longer to sell, but at the same time, if someone wants this shirt in a 3XL, there won't be many online as it's a big size, so that might play into my advantage as well. So yeah, I'll be aiming for about £40 on that one. On my local corner shop, which is just around the corner from my house, they were selling the new Prime drinks. Now, I don't collect these for myself, but I started collecting these when they first came out. There was a craze, there was a hype for them, everyone wanted them and they were going for silly money. So what I started doing was putting one aside of each flavour. Now some of them I did try and drink, so I have got some empty bottles, but for the most part they're all sealed. So with these ones, these are the two newest flavours. Now I believe they're limited edition, so I don't think you'll be able to get these after a while. So that's why I picked these up. I don't actually know what flavour they are. The one's blue and one's purple or pink. So I've now probably got about 12 Prime bottles. I don't have them all. They started bringing out loads of limited edition variants, which are stupidly expensive on eBay. The actual standard bottles aren't really worth much money, but I just figured it's a brand new drink. It's got a bit of a hype from it from YouTubers, and in the future they may be worth a little bit of money if you've got a collection of them. Once they have a drink that will sell out, or they stop making that flavour and move on to something else, that then will become like rare or collectible. So my plan really is just to get a set of them, and every time I see a variant I like to pick it up. When I feel like I've got enough of them, I'll just sell them as a bundle on eBay. I'm not too bothered about collecting them for myself. I just want to build up enough collection that I can make some profit on it at the end. Now these were £2.50 each, and these cost me £5. Following on with the drinks theme then, I also popped into B&M to get some stuff for my house. And I found these Stranger Things drinks, which I thought was quite strange. I've never seen these before. Now these are Starcourt Strawberry and Lychee Rift, and this is from the Netflix program. So it says a taste of the upside down on the side, and there you can see the flavour on the front. Now these were only 69p, and in typical fashion I always like to buy drinks, especially limited edition collectible cans and stuff like that. Now you always see on eBay someone is selling one for a high price, and you go to sold and somebody or many people have sold them for that price, and then you buy them, list them, and nobody buys it, and you can undercut the price that it sold for, like today or yesterday. So for example, these, someone was selling one for £5 plus postage, and they're only 69p, so I was like, that's not too bad, and that had sold. There was still some listed, but they had sold that day for £5. And then someone had bought a set of 4 for £16 plus postage that had sold only 24 hours earlier. So I bought a set of 4. So it cost me 69p, 140, cost me about £2.80 for these. And I've listed them for £14.30 plus postage to undercut, and still make a good profit on the set of 4. I think you're more likely to sell 4 than 1, because obviously you've got to pay postage. So if people can have the postage combined, they're more likely to buy it. But yeah, those haven't sold yet. They've been listed about 4 days now, so I don't know if they will sell, but it's a bit of a gamble. I just thought Stranger Things is a really popular series and someone might want them, so if they do sell, I'll make about £10 profit on them. Now at the start of the week, so I believe this was Tuesday or Wednesday, I had a client meeting just on the next town over from me, and there is a charity shop just next door to the client. So I popped in, and they didn't really have much, but the only thing I did pick up was this Russ little orangutan or monkey plush, and this was only 50p, and just by the fur I thought it was quite unusual, and I checked the label and it is a Russ bear. Now these were quite collectible, I believe in the 80s and 90s, I don't know if that's still going or not, but I've picked up 1 or 2 before, and I think I've sold 1 and I've still got 1 left. But both were like 50p or a pound, and they're worth about £10 to £12 each. So this guy sells for around about £10 as well, which is what I'll be listing him for. And lastly, I went to Argos with my partner, and we went in and we went to get some food shopping. Well, it's actually a Sainsbury's and Argos. We popped into Sainsbury's to get some food, and I checked the Argos, and they had like a little clearance bin next to the till. So I had a look through, and it was all random stuff, and shoved at the back of this clearance cage with all this, you know, random household junk, there were these 3 video game items. So the first one is Crash Team Rumble on the Xbox Series X. Now I'm not sure if this is a fantastic price, but this was £10.79, but it's still sealed. Now I know it's quite a new game, it only came out last year or maybe the year before, and I had a look on eBay and they sell for around £13 opened. So I figured a sealed copy for £10.79 is pretty good, and I think I'm going to add this to my collection or sit on it for a few years before I sell it. But a sealed copy of that I thought for a tenner is a pretty good price. And then I think what might be the thumbnail of the video, because we haven't really had much exciting going on this week, but these Lego Steelbooks were only 89p. Now they only had 2 left, but I picked up both copies and they were 89p each. So for less than £2, I got 2 Lego Steelbooks. Now, they're not actually worth that much profit, but to see 2 Steelbooks for 89p each, you can't really argue with that. So I can't remember what Lego game this came with, but this is basically an assortment of Lego games on the Steelbook, and then you open it up and there's enough room for 2 discs inside. So I believe you've got Lego Harry Potter, you've got the Joker and Harley Quinn, so I believe that is DC supervillains. And then you've got the Lego movie characters there and Lego Batman as well. So just a standard Steelbook really. These are probably worth about £6 to £8 each. They're not worth too much, and you'll probably find a listing on eBay of someone that's got like 50 in a job lot and they're selling them for like £3 or £4 each. So in terms of value, they're not worth that much, but to find a Steelbook brand new for 89p, then you can't argue with that at all. I reckon I could probably get about £4 or £5 each for these, and maybe 15 for this game if I was to sell it, but I'll probably keep both in the collection. And that is everything that I purchased this week. We've got a couple more sales to go over, so let's get into that now. So there is one sale that I forgot to mention that sold at the start of the week, and that is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre NECA figure. Now I picked this up for £17.50 per figure. I think I got 11 figures for £170 something on Facebook Marketplace. So I broke it down. I paid about £17 a figure. Now I have sold some of these before and they've gone for quite a lot of money, so I am in profit with those figures now. So anything that sells now should be pure profit. But I did pay £17.50 technically, and that sold for £23. Someone sent me an offer, so I haven't lost out on any of those figures. Some of them only make a couple of pound profit, such as this one, but I have sold some previously that have made some really good profit that have sold for £45 and £50 plus. So the next 2 sales will conclude the week and wrap up all of my sales. I don't actually have them on me, but I'll try and throw some footage over the top. So the first sale was a pair of Chelsea football shorts. This is from the 3rd kit. Now with football shorts and socks, they do tend to become quite collectible in the future, simply because they don't sell many quantities of them. Most people just want the shirts, less people want the shorts or the socks. Therefore, over time, they can become quite valuable. So I found a pair of Chelsea shorts at the car boot. I paid £2 for them, and someone sent me an offer for £10, but they were listed for £15. I listed them at 15 simply because there's not much competition on eBay at the moment, and this guy just kept hounding me. He sent me 3, 4, 5 messages saying £10, would you do 10? I'll pay right now £10. I sent him an offer for £12.50 the first time he offered 10 because they were up for 15, so I said would you meet in the middle? He declined and ignored that, and then sent me 3 or 4 messages asking them for a tenner, which it obviously worked, and I'm happy to take the £10. I looked at it as I only paid £2 a few weeks ago. It's a quick turnover, but they were, quite a nice pair of shorts. But I think hounding someone on eBay is not really the right way to go about it. But anyway, I'm happy with the sale. So that sold for a tenner, and I only paid £2 for them. Now the next sale is a Legend of Zelda Nintendo 3DS cartridge only. So there are a few versions of that game. So when that game came out, it was a remaster of the original 1998, I believe, Nintendo 64 game, and it came to the Nintendo 3DS, I believe, as well as a launch title. So when that game came out, there was a standard version of the game, like a standard case, and then there was a pre-order bonus which came with a gold collectible cover. It didn't have a barcode on it, and the reason for that is because there was no game inside. The case came with the standard version. In that case was a poster. Now I was in CEX, and there is a gold cover variant which you can buy as well, which was a pre-order bonus which came with the cartridge, and that does have a barcode on it. So I saw this on the shelf and thought it was that version, but it wasn't. It was the one without the barcode, which was the pre-order case. So basically someone had got the standard game with the pre-order case and the poster, and they've put the cartridge from the standard case into the pre-order case and traded it into CEX. So I know that the pre-order case does have a bit of value, so I saw that for £12 and I purchased it. Now what I did was I broke that sale down into 3, so I've sold the poster, or listed the poster on its own, I've listed the gold case on its own as a pre-order case, and then I listed the cartridge as cartridge only. So the cartridge only has sold for £12.50. I paid £12 for the lot, so after fees I'm probably still in a little bit of a loss on that. However, once the poster and the gold collectible case sell, then I'm well into profit. With that, that concludes the week, so let's wrap everything up, and I'll go through the results now and tell you how many items I sold, what I paid for everything, and how much it sold for, and ultimately how much profit I made this week. Before we get into the results, I've got a bit of a confession to make. So I was going to say that we've had a similar week this week to last week, and last week's was really good. Now, the difference between this week is we've had a similar week, but we've only sold almost half the items. And the reason for that really is because that Zelda figure was quite expensive. However, as I said, we've got similar results, which I'm very pleased with because last week was a good week. However, I've just looked at the spreadsheet from last week to compare, and I realised I missed off the sales for 3 items. So actually last week was a lot better. So it was gross sales of 414.04. Fees was 64.75, postage was 49.90, cost to buy was 102.84, but the actual net profit last week was £196.55, and I think I put on the video that is £169. So I'm actually quite annoyed with myself for that, but we actually had a really good week last week, and even better than I said in the video, which I was very pleased with. So this week's not so great, but it is somewhat similar. So if we get into this week's results, we sold 12 items. We had gross sales of £328.78. The fees this week were £45.24. Postage was £31.89. And the cost to buy was £108.74, leaving a total net profit this week of £142.91, which I'm actually very pleased with, all things considering. We've only sold 12 items. There was quite a few cheap items this week as well, but we have sold a few big items, which has made up for that. So I haven't been to the car boot this weekend either, so whilst I have made a few purchases, I haven't withdrew loads of money and spent it all at the car boot. So my bank account is actually building up quite nicely, which leaves us with some funds to go to car boots in the future, go to CEX trips, etc. So I've got some plans with that money for some videos as well, so that's good, because I think in the past what I've been doing is just recycling the money, spending it as it comes in, and the whole point of these videos really is to document my journey, but also I want to make money, otherwise I'm just working round the clock for no reason at all, as I'm just spending the profits. So I want to see some results from this. So my spending has somewhat slowed down since I started making the videos, but even before I started making the videos I was constantly spending, and that's not really the way to do things. I did hear a quote once: you can't get high off your own supply, and I think the problem with me is that I enjoy a lot of what I sell, so I end up just keeping some of it or most of it, and then obviously I don't actually sell it all, so then I don't actually make as much profit. So my aim really for the next couple of months over summer is to buy a little less and sell as much as I can. So this week's profit, £142.91 into the bank, which I'm really pleased with. So the last couple of weeks we've made well over £300, so I'm really happy with that. I do have a car boot video planned from 2 weeks ago that I haven't uploaded yet or edited yet, so it was actually 2 Saturdays ago, so that will be coming out this week. So there's still going to be a car boot video, and if I can I'll go to the car boot again this weekend, but unfortunately I didn't go to one this week, so there won't be a new car boot video coming out for that. But yeah, overall really good week, really strong week, happy with everything that's gone on. Haven't really been to too many places this week, but I hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification to notify every time I upload, and please like or comment if you've got anything to discuss in the video, anything you want to know or ask me any questions, please do so below and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, see you on the next video, and thank you very much for watching.